There's a version of the future where AI agents run companies, they hire contractors, pay invoices, manage cash flow, execute procurement, settle vendor contracts, the whole thing end to end without a human in the loop. That future is closer than most people think. The agents exist, the reasoning capability exists, the integrations exist, but there's one thing that doesn't exist yet, and it's the thing that makes every other capability meaningless. At the moment, it actually matters. Agents can't handle money, not really, not in any way that holds up at the legal, financial, or infrastructure layer. I want to spend the next 20-something minutes explaining exactly why that's true, why it's deeper than most people realize, and what the actual solution architecture looks like. Let's get into it. If you follow AI benchmarks, the story of the last 6 years looks like an unbroken line of progress. Reasoning, better. Code generation, better. Multi-step planning, dramatically better. Tool use, better. Now overlay one metric that doesn't appear in any benchmark suite. The agent's ability to legally hold, move, or receive funds, that line is flat. It has always been flat. It will be flat tomorrow when the next model drops. This is the benchmark illusion. We've been measuring progress at the reasoning layer and assuming it compounds down to the financial execution layer. It doesn't. The cognition layer is mature. The tool integration layer is maturing fast. The financial identity layer is, for the most part, a blank canvas, and most of the industry hasn't even noticed. Why? Because the failure mode is invisible until deployment. In testing, you mock the payment. In staging, you stub the API call. In production, the agent reaches checkout and the real system returns a 401, unauthorized, not because your logic is wrong, because your agent isn't a person, and our financial infrastructure was built for persons. Your agent can draft a flawless vendor contract, negotiate payment terms, log the invoice, and trigger the transfer, and then get rejected by the bank's entity verification layer because it doesn't have a social security number. Specific failure mode. An operations team at a mid-sized SaaS company deploys an agent to manage their vendor procurement workflow, identify needs, negotiate terms, issue purchase orders, receive confirmations, trigger payment on delivery. Steps 1 through 17, flawless. The agent sources 3 vendors, runs comparison analysis, selects the lowest qualified bid at $8,750, negotiates net 30 terms, generates the PO, sends it, receives confirmation, logs delivery, queues payment. Step 18, execute the payment. The API requires a verified business entity. The agent isn't one. The call fails. 4 hours later, the vendor follows up. 8 hours after that, a human approves the transfer manually. The net 30 clock started at step 18. The manual delay pushed the payment to net 32. The contract had a $175 per day late penalty, $350 in penalties on an 8,750 transaction, 4% friction cost on a workflow that was otherwise zero friction. Run 100 of these a month and you've got a $35,000 annual penalty liability. From a gap, most people don't include in their agent infrastructure budget. Upgrading the model doesn't fix this. A bigger context window doesn't fix this. Another tool integration doesn't fix this. The failure lives at a layer below everything the model touches. Why is this hard to fix? Every layer of our financial system, central bank reserve requirements, KYC regulations, API authentication schemes, was designed with a single assumption. The entity holding and moving money is a human being, or a legal construct created and controlled by human beings. An AI agent is neither. It's a process running on infrastructure owned by a company. KYC requires a government-issued ID. An agent doesn't have one. AML requires a beneficial owner declaration. An agent doesn't have one. A bank account requires a legal entity with a registered address and a human signatory. An agent doesn't have any of that. So when people say just give the agent a credit card, that's a workaround, not a solution. Cards issued to the company with the agent as authorized user, the human proxy model, work until they don't. Fraud detection notices when spending patterns don't match the declared cardholder's profile. Agents spend on a different pattern than human employees. Cards get frozen. Payments fail. The proxy breaks down at scale. And the proxy model is architecturally wrong. It means the agent's financial capability is permanently dependent on a human's legal identity. That's not autonomy. That's a leash with extra steps. Zoom out. Throughout history, every new class of economic actor eventually acquired financial identity. The joint stock company had to be invented, legislated, and tested across decades. Trusts, foundations, DAOs, each one expanded the definition of who can hold money. We're at an inflection point where the next class of economic actor is emerging, the autonomous agent. The question the financial infrastructure hasn't answered: what legal and technical construct allows an agent to hold and move money compliantly, auditably, recoverably, and not tethered to a human proxy? It's a genuinely hard question, and it's your problem if you're building agents that do anything economically meaningful. The fix has three components. One, a programmable wallet the agent can interact with natively, not a card, not a proxy, but an actual wallet with an address, a balance, and programmable spend controls. Two, an identity layer that gives that wallet enough legal standing to interact with financial infrastructure, stablecoins under regulated digital asset frameworks. Three, a liquidity layer that lets the wallet hold and convert value across currencies without each conversion requiring human authorization. The programmable wallet is the base layer. First-class API, fund, check balance, execute transfer, receive payment, programmable spend controls, max per transaction, max per day, approved counterparty whitelist, real autonomy within guardrails. The identity layer is the hard part. A USDC denominated wallet operated under a regulated custodian can satisfy KYC through the beneficial owner structure. The company registers as beneficial owner. The agent's wallet is a sub-account with defined permissions. Compliant, auditable, recoverable. The liquidity layer makes cross-border agent operations viable. Stablecoin liquidity pools, local currencies digitized into pegged assets, handle FX without a human approving each conversion. This is the architecture BananaCrystal is building. Fund with USDC. Convert to the target stable representation. Agent executes the payment. Recipient receives value in their preferred settlement currency. No human in the loop at the execution layer. The practical playbook. 1. Audit every point in your agent's workflow where money moves, outbound and inbound. If the agent is invoicing, where does the money land? If it can't land somewhere the agent controls, the revenue loop is broken. 2. Choose your financial identity wrapper. Company sub-account, regulated custodial wallet with beneficial owner mapping, or smart contract wallet with programmable controls. Custodial wallet with company as beneficial owner is the fastest path to compliance. 3. Implement spend controls before spend. Max transaction size, approve counterparty list, anomaly thresholds, before the first dollar moves. 4. Observability into the financial layer the same way you'd build it into the logic layer. Log every payment attempt, every failure, every successful transfer, with reasoning context attached. 5. Design for multi-currency from day one. Stablecoin infrastructure makes this tractable. Build with it as the default, not the upgrade. These 5 steps take your agent from stalls at every payment to operates economically within defined parameters. That's the meaningful threshold for production deployment. Final framing. The industry is having a loud conversation about intelligence, reasoning, agency, autonomy. But intelligence without financial capability isn't autonomy. It's a very smart assistant waiting for a human to hand it a credit card. The builders who figure out the financial identity layer in the next 12 to 24 months will have agents that do things everyone else's agents literally cannot do. Not because their models are better, because their infrastructure is complete. That's the opportunity. Available to anyone who takes the financial layer as seriously as they take the reasoning layer. If you want to go deeper, we're publishing daily research on the agent economy, payment infrastructure, and what complete agent autonomy actually requires. agentpayments.substack.com. Link in the description. Subscribe. Come back for the next one. If you're building agents professionally, drop a comment with the payment failure mode you've hit in production. See you in the next one.